there are more than just coaches that are being spoken against. Recently, and I think you have the exact comment maybe, but an anonymous source has come out against Tua Tagovailoa for the Miami Dolphins. What exactly was said about Tua?
Right. So this is one anonymous Dolphins player was said this. He was talking to the South Florida Sun Sentinel, talking about Tua. He said he can't make every throw. An unnamed prominent member of Miami's defense, which, just sidebar, what's an unnamed prominent? That seems like an oxymoron. Like if you're prominent, we should know who you are. If you're if you're an anonymous source, if you're a nobody, we should know who you are. This is just kind of a weird deal there. But anyway, talking about Tua, he's only going to take us so far. I'm wasting my career here if that's what we're doing. Later on in the interview, the paper asked him about potentially Deshaun Watson coming to Miami. And the same player said, quote, Watson is an elite quarterback now. We're ready to win, unquote. So what this tells me is that Brian Flores, the conflicts between Tua and Brian Flores weren't just between coach and quarterback. There was a contingency, and there still is, in the Miami Dolphins locker room that is very anti-Tua.
I'm looking at the Dolphins here. Best defensive players I can think of, maybe like Xavier Howard.
Yep.
Who would know about passing game a little bit, having to defend it. Or possibly, Javon Holland or like a Christian Wilkins.
I mean, you got Eric Rowe, former Patriot, who's played against some big games. They've played Deshaun Watson a bunch.
Yeah, that's true. So there's a couple guys who it could be. You never know exactly. And I don't think that they'll ever leak their source. But I like that comment, like you were saying, it means so much. Not only do they come out and say, okay, Tua, he doesn't have all the tools in the toolbox, but maybe we can work around it. He says he's wasting his career. He's wasting his time playing with Tua. Then asked about a possibility, a what if, someone who's not even they're linked to you. There's a possibility that they wanted to come to you, but that was mainly with your old head coach. They're like, yeah, come on, I want him over Tua. I'll take anything that is better than Tua. I'm wasting my time here. That's pretty damning evidence against Tua. And I've always heard I've heard he's rubbed players the wrong way. Obviously, he rubbed Flores the wrong way. Greer has gone out and stuck his neck out heavily to keep Tua, keep this project rolling. But this is not good. And it comes at a time when you fire a pretty solid head coach you had in Brian Flores. Now it seems like the team is uncaging a little bit. They're willing to speak out a little bit more. Maybe Flores was keeping that locker room in check, except for Tua possibly. And now people are coming out like, hey, Tua is the problem. So, I don't know how much worse it could be saying things like that. What do you got anything else on this one?
Yeah, so any player that's been in the NFL long enough, a veteran player, knows how hard it is to win games and win playoff games and make deep playoff runs, and knows what you need to do that. If you're a guy that's been around that, you need top flight quarterback play. Like the Miami Dolphins have a great defense, playoff defense. They've got some good players on offense. Jalen Waddle's an exciting rookie. Devontae Parker's a good receiver. Gesicki's a
big home run hitter.
Yep, Gesicki's a good tight end. Right, they have some players. So they have the roster and kind of the structure to make the playoffs and make a playoff run. They won 19 games the last 2 seasons. But you need quality quarterback play. And these I'm assuming this is a veteran guy, is frustrated because you only get so many seasons in the NFL to make a chance at a playoff run. And the Dolphins are kind of wasting that right now, at least according to this guy. And to be honest, now that you look at Tua and take a deeper look and say, I watched games. I watched the biggest wins Miami had this season when they beat Baltimore. Middle of the year when they beat New England to finish the year. I wasn't really impressed with Tua. His arm strength isn't there. It doesn't look like he's super accurate all the time. It looks like the offense is really simple. It looks like the team around him, kind of carries him with that defense, that running game, what Waddle and Gesicki can do at receiver and tight end respectively. I'm kind of getting where they're going at. Maybe this Miami team is actually really, really good as a roster, and Tua is holding them back. I think the more this comes out, I'm more kind of seeing where that line of thinking is coming from. And this is going to be really hard for whoever they bring in as their next head coach to get this right, because this tells me this locker room is split right now.
And this reminds me of something I love to bring up all the time. It's like a Browns light. Like Tua, Baker Mayfield's probably a little bit better than Tua. Not much, but a little bit. And the Browns roster is much better than the Dolphins roster overall. But Baker is the sticking point in that roster. Tua seems to be the sticking point of this Miami roster. And it seems as if that, like you're saying, people are ready to move on from him. And for some reason, the executives in Miami are not willing to move on to him. They'll move on from anybody else except him. And so it'll be interesting this next season. Do you think if Tua comes out this next season and produces similarly to this past season or worse, do they still go with him, or are they quick to move on?
I think it depends on GM's Chris Greer's relationship with Stephen Ross, who's the owner in Miami. Because if Ross and Greer, if Greer feels safe and Greer's a big Tua guy, I think he sticks with Tua as long as he can. Because he has to this point, and there's a lot of evidence maybe he should have moved off of Tua or maybe made a move for a guy like Watson, but he stuck with Tua and got rid of a really good coach in Flores. So I think if Tua still struggles this year or certainly doesn't improve, unless the ownership is breathing down Chris Greer's neck and Greer's worried for his job, I think they stick with Tua. I think that's the wrong move, right? I think if Tua doesn't make big steps this next year as he's, getting more and more experience in the NFL, I think you should move off of him. Look at the Cardinals. They had Josh Rosen and that was not working out. They go to Kyler Murray. They're a much better team for it. If give your young quarterback a few years, if he's not developing, move on.
That is one thing I will always give the Cardinals credit for. It was the first time in my short career of watching the NFL in the last 30 years that I have seen someone truly not get stuck in that sunken cost fallacy to pivot off of a first-round quarterback so quickly to be like, hey, okay, not working out first year. All right, we're going to trade you somebody else, pick up another guy, and to see the success that was brought in by that other guy, teams really need to look at that. It's okay to be like, all right, we invested a lot, but this is going south quickly. We need to move. We need to get this, move on from this project. Let's get right on into the next project. Okay? If you're so quick to cut Minkah Fitzpatrick's, if you're so quick to cut your Laramie Tunsil's, two really great players, why aren't you going to cut a mediocre quarterback that you have? I think this is a crazy decision by Miami. I think the players are getting restless. I think they know that they can do more. Like I said, they have a short time span. But this story is very interesting, and there might be more to come in the future.